feel it changing again?
Rolling round at the season's end.
Rolling around at the season's end.
About to lose my old friend.
About to lose my old friend.
Feel it changing again.
Do you feel it changing again? It scares me so. But my heart knows that everything is really okay. It's only changing. Take a breath. Do you feel it changing again?
Don't know why, and I don't know where.
I don't know when, I don't know where.
Going where I've never been.
Going where I have never been.
I feel it changing again.
I feel it changing again.
It scares me so.
It scares me so. But my heart knows that everything
is really okay.
Everything is really okay.
It's only changing.
It's only changing. The world is only the place of your interaction with everything that lives within you, sharing the one heartbeat. Seek to return to the heart connection, to the heart connection. Wrap the arms of love around the world and confident. Do it in your mind and heart. The lesson is as complex as you need the lesson to be. I feel it changing again.
Like a seed being carried by the wind.
Like a leaf being carried by the wind.
Now a new life begins.
And now a new life begins.
I feel it changing again.
I feel it changing again.
It scares me so.
Sometimes I get so scared. But my heart knows everything
is really okay.
It's really okay.
It's only changing.
Everything is really okay. It's only changing. Everything is really okay. It's only changing. Everything is really okay. It's only changing. Everything is really okay. It's only changing. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's a cool song.
That is a cool freaking song. I'm so thankful.
Nice guitar work too.
Hmm. But we're here to do the memorial service for the me I used to be. And we're here to celebrate the dearly departed Earl Purdy.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yes, he is now gone, and now there's somebody else that's also called Earl Purdy that's here, and he's using this body to communicate with you.
Cool.
Because I just got through having one of the most powerful, incredible journeys that I've ever had in my life. Last 10 days over in London. And sometimes you don't see God work until you're somewhere that you don't know your way around and don't know anything. Then you'll get out your way so the Spirit can go ahead and do what it's been doing all the time. So I felt like I was in the wholeheartedness and the embrace. There was the organizers of the workshop told me that they saw something happen to the audience that I spoke before that they had never seen happen in years and years that they've been doing it.
Wow.
They was getting up, shaking their booties.
In England?
In England.
My goodness.
Yes.
All right.
Even the Queen came. She hung out with me, but you ain't seen nothing till you seen the Queen do the booty dance, but that's a whole nother class. We'll talk about that some other time. But so I'm just here to give and receive more love than I did before I left.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay. I teach best what I most need to learn. So that means that I'm teaching this because I need to learn it and not because I have mastered it myself. So therefore, I am not perfect either. Is that cool with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to be on page 182 in the course of love. And it was your love and the fact that I had this tremendous Denver backup that had so much to do with what happened, I feel. So I want to thank you for the part you played in my awakening more. Thank you for your love. Those of you who thought about me and sent it to me, I really appreciate it. It mattered. I felt it.
Good.
Yeah. So on page 182, I got some stuff that's highlighted that I'm going to share. In paragraph 10.16, it says, "There's no longer cause for alienation, nor for the feeling of abandonment, so many of you have felt. There's no longer cause for alienation, nor for the feeling of abandonment, so many of you have felt. You are now within the embrace. You are now within the embrace. You are now within the embrace where all such hurts are healed. The world does not exist apart from you. The world does not exist apart from you. And so you must realize your compassionate connection. Your compassionate connection. It's time to realize your compassionate connection. The compassionate connection. The compassionate connection. The world is not a collection of cement buildings. The world is not a collection of paved streets, nor of cold, heartless people who would as soon do you harm as good. The world is but the place of your interaction with all that lives within you, sharing the one heartbeat. So where you are located right now is in a place that you are interacting with everything that lives within you. All day long, you're interacting with all the thoughts that exist within you, all the feelings that exist within you. He's saying that your world is you interacting with yourself all day, but you don't know it. But all day long, you're interacting with yourself all day. So, if there's a lot of conflict inside your mind, if there's a lot of conflict inside your heart, then you are experiencing a lot of conflict with people right now. If you're having conflict with people right now, it's a reflection of the conflict within your own mind and heart right now. So if you want to get rid of the conflict in your outer world, you have to get rid of the conflict in your inner world. If you want to get rid of the conflict in your outer world, you have to get rid of the conflict in your inner world. Woo! Yeah. The heartbeat of the world does not exist apart from God. The heartbeat of the world is thus alive. The heartbeat of the world is a part of you. This heart connection is what we seek to return you to. This heart connection is what we seek to return you to. This realization that the world is not a thing, as you are not a thing. The world is not a thing, as you are not a thing. Your identity is shared and one in Christ. A shared identity is a quality of oneness. A shared identity is one identity. When you identify with Christ, you identify with your one identity. So the Christ just means the one identity. So when you turn into the Christ within, you just turn into the one identity within. The one identity within. Whew. When you realize the oneness of your identity, then you will be one with Christ. So Christ is synonymous with oneness. Christ is another word for oneness. So going to the Christ is going to the oneness. Going to the oneness, that one heartbeat that we all share. Sometimes it's hard to believe that the way you have worldly problems solved is to take your mind off of them. Sometimes it's very difficult. When people come to a class or something like this, sometimes the temptation is to look for me to talk about the stuff you're thinking about. But really, the solution is to not talk about none of the stuff you're thinking about, but to talk about your ability to create something new and different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here so that we can hear something different from what we tell ourselves all day. So what good would it do to come here for us to talk about the same stuff we think about all day? What we want to learn is how to have that compassionate connection, to realize that you're only interacting with yourself, that the Christ in you is just the one identity that we all share with each other, underneath what appears to be our differences. I am one with you. We are the same. Our bodies and our egos make us think we're different. Our past learning makes us think we're different. But the truth is, we are one self, united with our Creator. And we are limitless in power, and we're limitless in peace.
Oh, yeah.
United with my Creator, I am one self. United with my Creator, I am one self. United with my Creator, I am one self. Woo! United with my Creator, I am limitless in power and limitless in peace. I am limitless in power. I am limitless in peace. I am limitless in power. I am limitless in peace. I'm limitless in power. I'm limitless in peace. So there. So there.
So there.
So there.
Limitless.
So there. What could be left out of the embrace? And who from within the embrace could be separate and alone? Have you never felt as if you would wrap your arms around the world and bring it comfort if you could?
Yeah.
This you can do, not with physical arms, but with the arms of love. You could wrap your arms of love around the world, and you could bring the world comfort. You can wrap the arms of love around the world and bring it comfort. The love that we're looking for isn't coming from anywhere else. The love that you're looking for isn't coming from anywhere else. The love that you're looking for is coming from within you. And it's coming from the love that you show to yourself. And the love that you show to yourself is going to be the love that the world shows you. So the world can only show you as much love as you show yourself, because it's only as much love that you show yourself that you can recognize when it comes to you. When love comes to you greater than your capacity to receive it, you just don't see it. And so you will say it's not there. So when something is beyond your capacity to receive, it could be right in front of your face, but you would claim it isn't there and you can't see it because your capacity to receive it isn't there. And since your capacity to receive it isn't there, it looks like it's not there. So whatever looks like is missing in your life is what you haven't developed the capacity to receive. It's what you haven't developed the capacity to receive. It's whatever you think is missing. It's what you haven't developed the capacity to receive. And feeling sorry for yourself is not going to make any difference. It's not going to change anything. But you're cute. You can be the cutest little depressed thing that we've ever seen, but Since you are the creator of your experience and everything comes to you according to your choice, if you choose to be depressed, the world is not going to oppose that decision because the universe and spirit never opposes your decision. So you can be as sad as long as you want to be. And nothing's going to try to stop you. Nothing's going to try to change it because you're free. And part of your freedom is you can continue to stay in a pattern as long as you like. You can even die and come back and continue it. That's how blessed you are. Is that you can keep it going for lifetimes if you believe in lifetimes. But I personally don't believe in many lifetimes. I believe there's just one life that you move through many bodies in. It's like you change your clothes, but it's the same you underneath your clothes. You change your body, and it's your same soul underneath the bodies. So there's no such thing as reincarnation in the traditional sense. There's just one life that you express in many ways, in many times. And it doesn't even matter if you believe that or not. Only thing that matters is for you to start showing yourself the love that you want everybody else to show you so that you can start seeing it all around you. Yeah.
So whatever you're missing is what?
Whatever you're missing is what you haven't developed the capacity to receive. Whatever is missing, it doesn't mean it's not there. It just means you can't see it and receive it because of how you feel about yourself and others. That's why it's impossible to be in a relationship with anybody who's different from you, no matter how much it looks like you're different. It's impossible to be in a relationship with somebody who's really fundamentally different from you. You were attracted to each other because you are alike. That's why you saw each other. That's why you can feel each other. That's why you want each other. And then the more alike they are to you, the more passion you feel for them because they represent something you think is going to complete you.
So I got a follow-up question. So then how do you develop the capacity?
You develop the capacity to receive by giving yourself new thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs that are in line with the new you that you want to see. It's not that these new thoughts, feelings, and emotions and beliefs change you. What these new thoughts, emotions, and beliefs do is remove the blocks to what's already there being able to be expressed. Does everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The stuff you read in these books do not change you. They just clean the window so the sun can shine through. That's already there. You know what I'm saying? It's like those, if it was sunshiny outside and I had those blinds closed, the job to get the sunshine in wouldn't be to make the sun. The job would be to open the blinds. These books open the blinds. The sunshine of your life will come through on its own when you open. That's funny. And what are the blinds? My closed eyes. That's even literally, you can see that. If I close my eyes, does that mean that my sight doesn't work? No, it just means I'm interfering with the laws of seeing by keeping my eyes closed. That's us. All you got to do is open your eyes, and you'll see everything that you want is already there. How do you know your eyes are closed? Because you feel fear and dissatisfaction. That means your eyes are closed. You could ask somebody to open your eyes for you. That's God. That's Holy Spirit. Or you could insist on opening your own eyes. It's either way. But I'm on the path now of teamwork, cooperation, partnership, joining with something greater than me, joining with other people who share. I'm through doing this alone. Now, I never did anyway, but now I'm consciously choosing not to do it alone. And there's no need to. There's no need to. I saw one of the strangest things I've ever experienced. It was like a black chick with a British accent. That was such a trip. They were marveling at my accent. I said, I don't have an accent. You got an accent. What you talking about? I don't have an accent. You have an accent. But it was just a trip hearing some black chick talk like the Queen. That was really intense. I went by Buckingham Palace. And that was true, I went by it.
Really fast, I thought.
But the Queen got her own personal park right next to the palace. They have all kinds of birds and animals, just regular animals, but a lot of different kind of ducks and birds. And it was one of the most beautiful days that I've ever experienced. And I just left the palace, and I was walking with the lady that was my host, who was unbelievable. And I know she had to be an angel in the physical body to help me make my transition into that area. And it was like a movie. Have you ever seen a movie where when you go to another level of consciousness, and supposedly it's like a really loving place where birds land on your shoulders? Have you seen those kind of movies like You've Gotten So Cool That Birds? That's what these freaking pigeons and stuff did. I mean, if you had some food or something, they would fly and land on your arm and eat out of your hand. The squirrels would walk up and go. They didn't run away like they do here. They came up to you. It was so interesting to watch the images and symbols that I had learned to associate with a higher loving consciousness physically manifest around me the whole time I was there. But what I was most impressed by was the Holy Spirit. What I was most impressed with was whatever it was that was orchestrating that entire experience for me, because it did it beautifully. You know, it's like people came up afterwards and said, "We need you. We need you. You are being used as a catalyst to the expression of ourselves in a way we've never done it before. We need you." And so out of that one thing that I was afraid to do at first, my ego didn't know how it would be received. As it stands right now, 5 more speaking engagements have come out of it. It possibly also includes Ireland and Scotland. I can't wait to get my mini kilt. I'm gonna come back here with the hottest mini kilt y'all ever saw. And y'all peep up my kilt when I'm teaching. Or it don't matter, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. And so the one thing that the Holy Spirit told, it's so weird. It's so weird. You just wouldn't believe. It'd take me all hour to talk about it. But my point in saying this is I'm not special, and there is absolutely nothing that occurred with me that would not occur for you in a way that has meaning for you. That's all. It has nothing to do with specialness and my capacity as a teacher or any of that stuff. The only reason why I was sent over to London and was paid, the whole trip was paid to go over there, was somebody that saw a picture of me in a brochure and said they saw a light. And so they invited me over there. And then had me open the conference and close the conference. Why? Not because they heard my video, not because they were impressed with me, but because somebody was conscious enough to look in my eyes on a photograph and say, I want him.
Wow.
So we have to let go of our perceptions of what it takes for what we want to happen. You have to let go of your perception of what it takes to have what you want to have happen. You have to stop believing that things can only come to you the way you think of and the way you plan. You want to really be smart? Ask for what you want to come to you in the easiest way for it to get to you. Ask for what you want to come to you in the easiest way for it to get to you. Ask for what you want to come to you in the way that's easiest to get to you, rather than you trying to think of how to have what you want happen. Watch what happens. So, have you never cried for the state of the world as you would for one small child in need of love? Has the world then not lost its thingness? And has it not as well lost its personalness? Are your tears not shed for what lives and breathes and exists along with you? And is the you who sheds such tears a personal being? Are you just a thing? Are you just a mass of flesh and bone? Are you just a mass of flesh and bone? Are you just a bunch of physical organs sitting up there in the chair held together by flesh? Is that all you are? Are you just liver and hearts and intestines and muscles and sinew and hair and teeth? Is that all you are? Is that it? Is that it? Is that it, y'all?
No.
Is that all we? Is that it? Is that all you are?
I said no.
Or are you like the world you cry for? Are you devoid of thingness and a personal self? And when you have leaped with joy, leapt with for joy at the world's beauty, has it not leapt with you, returning grace for grace? Is it possible to have a concept of wholeness? Oneness with Christ is nothing more than this concept realized that we are one. We are the same. The lesson is only as complicated as the most complex among you needs it to be. So if you're a very complex person, then the lesson is going to come to you in a complex way. If you are a very complex person, then the lesson is going to come to you in a very complex way, because if it came to you in a simple way, you wouldn't even pay attention to it. Because you need stuff to be complex before you think it's really valuable. Those complex ones of you out there. Those little cute, juicy, complex people out there in this audience who have complex problems, you have complex problems because you see yourself as so complex. So if you sit up there going, but I'm complicated, my life is complicated, everything is going on. That's why everything is complicated. You complicated. You want a simple problem? See yourself as simple. I am spirit. I am spirit. I am spirit. I'm not a black dude named Earl Purdy hoping he can make it, trying to figure out all day long how to overcome forces beyond his control and manipulate everybody around him so he can be happy. Except sometimes. You're just lying about it. You know, it's a part of me that wants to control everybody and wants everybody to do what I want them to do, because that is the secret of happiness. Is that you all just do what I want you to do. It's simple. Just do what I want you to do and I'll be happy. Anybody else use that formula? Anybody willing to admit they use that formula?
Oh, yeah.
But there's a part of you that you know you think your happiness is on controlling things outside of yourself and people outside of yourself and getting them to be the certain way you want them to be in order for you to be happy. And you're looking for that perfect slave. Are you looking for that? Do you go on Match.com and look for the perfect slave? Why don't you just be straight up? I want a slave. You'd be surprised how many people will respond. I tried that one time. It took me a week to go through all the resumes. You'd be surprised how many people want to be slaves. Like practically everybody you see that doesn't know the truth. They're slave to their programming, they're slave to their childhood, they're slave to their boss, they're slave to society, they're slaves to their own beliefs about themselves, so slaves to the childhood beliefs that they got. They're slaves all around the place. The strangest slaves of all are adults who still live as though they have to obey the beliefs they got as a child. Those are the biggest slaves of all. The ones who don't even believe what they learned in their childhood is true, but they still live by it. They would sit up and tell you they don't believe in those old beliefs that they got about sin and guilt and fear, and you watch them still not do anything they really want to do because they're concerned about what other people are thinking. Is it really bad or wrong? Yeah. No. Would you breathe with me just a second? Sometimes people come to my classes and they don't breathe for an hour. They pass out and I don't know why. We should stop breathing in the presence of the truth. Any questions or comments before I go on further? Sometimes I just love to read the truth. You know, just hear it cold cocked and then just say it back. Any thoughts? Anyone? Any beliefs? Any questions?
It's too good to think.
There can be questions about this, questions about my trip, just any question about anything.
I have a question.
Okay.
We were talking about one life spread out through different bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recognize anyone from your different bodies?
Do you recognize anyone?
Do you?
Right.
Have you recognized people from your different bodies?
Yeah.
So,
Well, it was a gang of them at the talk I did in London. There were so many people that I met that I knew I had met, and they knew that I had met them, that we went directly to love. And no, none of that having to go through all these different barriers before you join with the person in your heart. Yeah, right. And it had the most incredible feeling of deja vu. Like, there's no reason why this should feel as familiar as it does. But the Course in Miracles teaches that we're reliving an ancient instant over and over again. So like, in other words, the Course basically says, this is the movie Groundhog Day. Like, I always tell people, if you want to see a movie that really reflects the truth in a way that's almost creepy, rent Groundhog Day.
Absolutely.
It's basically a story about this guy that got up every day and it was the same, everything would happen just like it did the previous day. So it got to the point that he knew what was going to happen all day long, to the point he could choose to avoid certain things because he knew what was going to happen, or help people before it happened to them. So it looked like he was psychic. He wasn't really psychic at all. He was just reliving the past over and over again, and that's the secret to all psychics. If you realize the pattern that we're living over and over again, of course you can predict pretty much what's going to happen next. If you've already seen the movie, you can predict what's going to happen in the next scene. So you're reliving the same instant over and over again until you make a choice for love. Until you make a choice for happiness, you attract the same relationships to you over and over again. You just attract the same thing over and over. Now some people say, well, if I'm going to attract the same thing over and over again, then why don't I just stay where I am? Because if I go to something else, I'm just going to meet the whole lesson again. That's perfectly okay if you choose to look at it that way. But for me personally, I love the variety of the lesson. It's more fun. Maybe it is the same lesson, but this time I got it in pink, and this time I got it in green, and this time I got it in blue, and this time I got it in yellow. And another thing I noticed about choosing to sometimes release a situation and go to a new one, even though it's going to ultimately be the same thing you're going to learn, is that just for a little while, you really believe it's new and different. and since for a little while you believe it's new and different, you actually could implement a change of attitude because you really don't believe it's the same person you've been dealing with before or the same thing. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like it was funny. Like when I first moved here, it really looked like it was different. Then I found myself attracting friends who were the friends I had before, but they just had different bodies. But I could tell that's the personality of my friend Tony, and that's the personality. You all know exactly what I'm talking about. You hang around long enough, the same energy comes back to you in a physical form. But for a while, just for a little while, it really seemed different, so you really could have treated the person different. For instance, if I need to learn how to give love unconditionally, let's say I got a big grievance with somebody over here, and for whatever reason right now I can't get past that grievance, so I choose for another relationship over here. Since I don't think it's the same person that it was over there, I'll let the love come out faster here. And maybe make a difference and never even it's easier to never get in the illusion of the grievance in the first place than to get in it and try to get out of it. That's what I've noticed. If I can avoid falling in the hole, that's a lot better to me than getting in the hole trying to get out. But if I do fall in the hole, I want to know that I have a rescuer, and that's the Holy Spirit. Oh, you in the hole again? Yeah, just put a flat screen down here. I'm not gonna even come out. Give me a chair, give me a sofa, just drop it down in the hole, and I'm just gonna stay down here. Is that what you do? Do you just rearrange your jail cell and then think you're out of prison? Is that what you do? That's what you call change? You just do the same thing you've always done, but you just do it a different way? You know, I'm in the prison cell, and my bunk is on this side. Now I move it on that side, and now I say I got a new house. Is that what you do? Is that what we do? So the lesson is only as complicated as the most complex among you need to be. You're one of those people that I was talking about. You know, you're somebody that I know. This lesson is on.
That's why she asked the question.
Maybe so, but it's very obvious to me because she's never had fear that I could perceive of me. And she didn't put me through he's a man. What does he want? You men just want one thing. No, we want more than one thing. We want a lot of things. But it was really quick. Like if you're in a situation where there are a lot of people attracted to you, especially they're the opposite sex, and you can tell right off the bat that they're completely open to you on every level, and they may even see you as the possible person that they've always been waiting for. Then when you begin to wake up, you know what you do? You realize that they received the best that they could receive from you right now before the fear comes in that would come with the specialness and the physical joining. It's like they feel no fear with you right now. But then if you go, like if I saw a bunch of women and they go, well, I want to go to bed with all these women because I love all of them and they're all me. And I'm totally innocent anyway. All right. I'm totally guiltless. Because you know, you have people that'll come up and they'll say, I recognize you, I love you, and I'm available. You know, and see, sometimes when you're scared to join, you can't even imagine how some people are not. So, you know, one of the things that used to freak me out was how I would meet people who would do things that I would never imagine doing myself. And you ever had that experience where you would be with somebody and they do something that you would never imagine yourself doing, then all of a sudden you realize that almost any kind of person you can think of exists. So there would never be any need for any need that you may have to not be met. Because anything you can think of, there's somebody who wants to do it on their own. That you don't even have to convince them to do it. They just want to do it anyway. And you're blessed enough that they want to do it with you. So there's no guilt because there's no manipulation and you're not trying to get anybody to do anything. It's like feeling guilty because the sun shines on you. That's what the sun does. It would shine whether you were around or not. Thank God you on a tan. Then the sun, just being the sun, is going to give you a tan. But the sun isn't saying, hey, you land on the beach, I'm going to give you a tan. It'll give a tan to the person who thinks they're guilty and innocent, and it'll give a tan to the person that robbed the bank, and it'll give a tan to the person who just got through beating their wife up, and it'll give a tan to the person who just got through giving to people who are less fortunate. The sun does not discern between who it will shine on based on their character. That's our love, which isn't real love. Real love doesn't have any such discriminations. So there's nothing you could want that there wouldn't be someone who could meet that need, because that's the way they are. You just have to ask. You have to ask. Not come to a conclusion about how it's going to happen, because when you come to a conclusion about how it's supposed to happen, you alleviate all the other ways it could happen, because you're looking for it to happen the way you decided it should. So having a conclusionary existence blocks your manifestation.
Yeah.
Did everybody hear that?
Yeah.
When you come up with how it's supposed to happen, then you just screwed yourself.
Yeah.
Because if that's not the easiest way for it to happen, then you're blocking all the easy ways it could happen. But everything hinges on your asking. Ask. Asking is not taking. Asking is not taking. People don't ask because they think it's taking. Give me a glass of water. I just took a glass of water. See, so unconsciously, the truth teaches that we think asking is taking. But what we don't know is that asking is giving. Because whatever you give, that's what you're asking for. Because whatever you give is what's going to come back to you. So actually, giving is asking. So what I'm giving all day is what I'm asking for all day and what I'm going to receive all day. So I was scared and nervous about speaking before these people that I never met before in a culture that's different from mine. But I ask for the Holy Spirit to be with me, for love to be with me, for love to come through me, for love to be in charge of the presentation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wanted them to love me, and I wanted them to appreciate me. And one day I'll be on a level of consciousness that it doesn't matter. But I wanted them to love me, and I wanted them to, so my higher self, the Holy Spirit, said to me, well, that's easy, I'll tell you how to do that. Give them love. Stand up there, look at them in the eye, and send as much love to them as you possibly can. And you'll receive it back from them. And that's exactly what happened. And that's exactly what will happen to you. Anywhere you are, even Halloween parties.
Allowance.
Yeah, and giving it.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Same thing, giving it. And what I learned about having a lot of people really want to love me and be open to me. There was a person that was so loving that flew from Ireland to London to spend 3 hours with me. Left me, went back to the airport and flew back to Ireland. I think she wanted to connect and really communicate. And that's what we did. Went to this beautiful outside cafe on this market. And it was funny because I was sitting up there and I'm in this I'm in this place with people driving on the wrong side of the street with the cars on the steering wheel on the wrong side of the car. just really interesting kind of environment with this person, and it seemed completely surreal. It seemed completely surreal, And what felt good is to be there with her and not have a desire to get anything from her. I love that whatever's happened to me in my spiritual growth, it's taken me beyond that point that I want to get something from a woman or get something from a man. The whole idea that I need to get something from you means you are the wrong person. The whole idea that I would have to seduce you, manipulate you, convince you means you are the wrong person. Nobody who's the right person do you have to convince to do anything with you. They are always saying yes. Would you say it with me?
Yes.
Yes. Now, how can you tell when you don't really want what you're asking for?
You don't get it.
You don't get it, and you're attracted to the person or situation that doesn't give it to you.
Yeah.
So when you are afraid of something, you make a point to connect it with somebody that won't give it to you and blame them for the lack of it. But they aren't doing anything to you. You don't want it. They're just obeying your command. Do you know that you are telepathically telling everyone how to treat you?
Yeah.
But you don't be pretending you don't do it. So let's pretend that we got telepathy. And I'm sitting in front of you saying, I want you to tell me you love me. But with telepathy, I'm saying, I don't really believe I deserve love, and I got to learn how to receive love, so don't you give it to me. So even though I'm telling you, I want love, don't you give it to me, because I'm afraid of it, and I'm not ready for it yet. That's the telepathy. Then I'm going to look at you, and you're going to look like you're not giving it to me, and I'm all mad at you. But the truth is, you're following my orders, because I'm the one, every moment, dictating what my lesson is and how I've decided to learn it. And everything that's happening to you is the way you've chosen to wake up. Everything that's happening to you, every person that's happening to you, every situation that's happening to you right now, it's your plan for awakening. It's what you decided that you had to go through in order for you to be happy one day. Sorry. That's good news. You could rewrite the play. You are the screenwriter. You could ask for a new play tonight.
Right.
Oh well, I guess we'll do it another night. Okay. Within the in paragraph 10.20, but that is so freeing.
Yeah, it really
to
is.
be in control of your own sexual nature. To want to give people what they really want instead of what they think they want, even what you think. That's not alleviating that possibility from the experience. But it's beautiful for it to not be mandatory in order for you to feel connected and joined and loved. It's good when you're it's great if it happens, it's great if it don't. It's great if it happens, it's great if it doesn't. It's great if it happens, it's great if it doesn't. It's great if it happens, it's great if it doesn't. That's supposed to be the attitude that a conscious being has about everything. It's great if it happens, it's great if it doesn't. It's great if it happens, it's great if it doesn't. Because once you've given your life to the divine power, how could anything happen that's not for your own best interest, whether it happens or not? So if you wanted that relationship and it didn't happen, hallelujah. It's the best thing that could happen to you that they lost your phone number. That was divine order. And then it could be, wow, they remembered my phone number and they called me. Isn't that incredible? It's okay either way. 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 It's okay either way.
Either way.
It's okay.
You know,
I like
you want to
that.
go out with me? It's okay. You don't? It's okay. Man, this story a friend of mine told me about Santana, and it was these groupies knocking on his dressing room door.
Maybe.
He opened the door and he said, "You know what? There is not one thing I can give you that would be greater than what you just received when I was on stage performing." Because that's what has you at the door. Without that, you wouldn't even be here. So you've already received the greatest energy you could have ever received from me already. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
I could totally see what they were talking about. It's like if someone's attracted to you, tell them the thing that you're attracted to me for, that's the greatest energy you could have experienced with me. The thing I did that drew your attention, that's what you should want more of.
That's what I want more of.
You know what I'm saying? If it was the truth, then you should want more truth.
I do.
If it was the music, I should want more music. You see what I'm saying? It's like whatever it is that drew you to that person in the first place, that energy, whatever they were off, whatever, that's the greatest energy you can experience. It's whatever it was that triggered your desire to join.
That's good, girl. That's
So,
good.
within the embrace, you can let all thought go. Thank you, Judy. Within the embrace, you can quit thinking, even of holy things, holy men, and holy women, and even divine beings, even the one God. Because once you're in the embrace of love, you don't even have to think about that stuff anymore. Is not the embrace itself holy? Is not the sunrise and sunset holy? Is not the least of the birds of the air as holy as the mighty eagle? The blades of grass, the fleck of sand, the wind and air, the ocean and her surf all live by the universal heartbeat and exist within the embrace. Is not all you can imagine holy when you imagine with love? Is not all you cannot imagine holier still? Sanctity is all that exists within the embrace. How could you be less than sacred? How can you be less than sacred? How can you be less than sacred? You exist in holiness. So the first step in remembering this holiness is forgetting. So the first step to remembering is forgetting all that stuff you already learned that doesn't inspire you, make you feel good, or love yourself. You got to forget it. Forget your childhood. If every time you think of your childhood, you think of some kind of abuse that you went through. Forget it. It's not serving you anymore. Forget that you were taught you were just a body. Forget that you were taught you have no power. Forget that you were taught that you are not innocent. Forget all that stuff. So you can remember the truth about yourself better. So you can remember the love about yourself better. Get all that gang stuff. Do you know what your ego is? Your ego is the conversation you're having with yourself in your head. That's your ego. Yeah. You tell me you're running dialogue and you're describing the voice of your ego to me. You tell me what you're sitting up here thinking about right now and you're describing your ego thought to me. Forget to remember better. 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 Could we acknowledge us? Us? Could we give it? Let me for real. Come on. Yeah. Remember, your world is going to be a reflection of what you give to yourself. Yeah. Your world's going to be a reflection of what you give to yourself. Oh. All right. Okay. Yeah. Especially right now, if there's some area of your life that you're miserable in and you're unhappy, if you have an area in your life that you're unhappy in right now, for whatever reason, in that area of your life, especially go, I don't know. I don't know. What would it take for the answer to show up in a way I can receive it in ways beyond my wildest imagination? I don't know how to have a relationship. I don't know how to be prosperous. I don't know how to have peace. I don't know how to have health. You better go into it, I don't know, so you can be helped. I'm telling you, it's not complicated. It's just thinking differently. It's just doing something different from the way you were taught, Earl. Yeah.
So, I got a situation at work where this person I enjoy working with very much has been in a different division than I'm in the communications division. I'm art director. And she is going to be my partner. I enjoy working with her. I enjoy her spirituality. Blah 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 blah. There's something that of where you just said I don't know. So there's something bugging me about it, and I can't put my finger on it or whatever. I'm just supposed to literally just go stand in the closet and go, I don't know, you know,
or just sit there.
Or in my own,
You just sit there. You don't have to go in the closet.
Invisibility cloak and go, I don't know.
Yeah, no, at least I can decide that this is bugging me right now.
I mean,
At least I can decide this is bugging me right now, and I want another way to look at it. I want to see this differently. How can I see this differently? That's literally all you're doing.
So just ask.
Just ask.
Just
ask.
say, you know, I'm at the end of my thought and spiritual
And decide how you are going to be.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, it's like, okay, I asked for another way to look at this because for some reason I'm feeling some form of fear. But what I can do is decide how I'm going to be.
Right.
And I'm going to be as peaceful as possible. I'm going to be as open as possible. I'm going to, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's quote unquote what you have the most control over is how you're going to choose to behave.
Right.
And then out of your perception and your behavior, you're going to create the experience that you have with her. And just remember that whatever experience you have with her is one that you're asking for some lesson in love that you wanted to learn.
Right.
And that communication is salvation. And so most of the time, if there's any kind of separation or fear that's happening, that's a request for some kind of honest communication.
Okay.
You know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. You know, I know those things, and you know, and we do communicate well, and we've talked, and you know, and I haven't communicated with her that there's something I'm afraid of.
And that's all you have to say.
And that's it. And say it to the universe.
Well, plus it's a funny thing. You find that most people don't want you to be afraid of them. Actually, most people, they don't. It's like those people don't want you to be afraid of them. So when you say, I'm feeling some fear right now, or I have some fear around this right now, if it's a halfway sane person, they don't want you to feel fear. When I see someone becoming afraid of me, the first thing that I ask is, what can I do to support this person feeling safe? Because they're only fearful people attack. 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 And fearful people never see anything correctly. Fearful people never see anything correctly. Angry people never see anything correctly. Depressed people never see anything correctly. So anytime you're dealing with a depressed, angry person, you're dealing with a person who is not seeing things clearly. Their perception of reality is distorted, and everything they're looking at isn't true. So the more miserable a person is, the more likely they are to misperceive everything you do. That's why safety and peace has to be your primary goal in any relationship, because it's only when a person is peaceful and happy that they see you correctly. It's like there's a practical reason for not wanting people to be upset around you all the time.
Yeah.
When they are upset, they are not seeing anything as it is. They're only seeing the justification for their anger. That's it. So nobody's home. When you're trying to talk to somebody when they're upset and depressed, there's nobody home. Why? They're not listening to a word you're saying. I can be in this class and I can tell just as good when I'm looking in the eyes of a person who is not at home. They're either thinking about what they're hearing or projecting something into the future, or their ego is just don't want to hear what's going on. In other words, they're listening to their own thoughts, which is what has them depressed in the first place. So even though they're getting a new way of looking at it, they're not hearing me because they're still running their story. So I'm talking from the book, you can do this and you can do this and it'll change this and you can have what you want. You know what's happening. They're listening to their own thoughts. They're not listening to the answer. They're just listening to their own recording. But then there are some people you can look around and you know they're present. And you bless both people because they're all you.
Yeah.
Nothing that anybody in this room can do that I haven't done. All right.
What about prom night?
Well, hopefully you did what I did prom.
You bet.
I did. You really did. Matter of fact, as I was guilty about my prom, I went to prom in the 11th grade, and they didn't even have one when I was in the 12th.
That's how much good I had about prom night.
They canceled it, huh?
Well, I lived in Memphis, Tennessee. And the year I graduated from high school, Martin Luther King got assassinated
Uh-oh.
when I was downtown in the library, about right around the block from it.
Really?
And there were riots, and because of the riots, they canceled the prom and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, take a breath.
Let this in. Donna Marie Carey. It's called The Real Love. It's called Real Love.
It's only in the wake up.
Hey. What happened?
To what's given your
Wake up to what you really are.
You are the very thing you've been searching for.
You are the very thing you've been searching for.
Everything you thought you needed for us. Guiltless, sinless, child of God. Love is all.
Please listen, please listen, please listen, please listen, please
There's
listen.
a love not of this world.
There is a love not of this world.
The only real love.
The only real
You
love.
will not find it where you search.
You won't find it where you search.
It's only in the
It's only in the waking up.
wake up.
Wake up.
To what you really are. Wake up.
Wake up. Raj, wake up. Earl.
Search only for what is false. Let it go.
Let it go.
Give up the cost of holding on to what you think you know.
Let it go.
Listen to the voice of love. It's calling you,
calling you,
telling you, wake up,
Wake up.
to the only true reality of you. You are love, not of this world.
You are not of this world.
The only real love.
The only real love.
You will not find it wherever you search.
You won't find it searching outside.
It's only in the wake up.
Wake up.
To what you really are. Wake up.
Take a breath.
This world offers you nothing that you need.
This world affords you nothing that you need.
You are the extension of all that is and never will
You're the
be.
extension of all that is and ever will be.
Will you believe? When will you come
When will you
home to me?
When will you come home to me? When will you come home to me?
Wake up,
Wake up.
wake up,
Wake up.
and see our love, not of this world. The only
up. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. Love it. Debbie Cardwell, would you stand up, please? Give it to Debbie. Give it to her. Test her capacity to receive. Debbie, you did. It was so wonderful to be recovered while I was gone. I love you so much. Let's give it to her again, y'all. Let's test Debbie. Let's shoot that love out to Debbie for covering for me. Yeah. Doggone it. And you're so darn cute too, so you got it all.
Speech.
I love you. Speech, speech.
I'm shutting up.
You done. So, mighty companions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The love army. Secret agents of love.
Secret.
Now we gotta fool everybody so that we can hang out with them and they won't know we shooting out love indiscriminately where they don't know it. So what y'all gonna have to do is sometimes act crazy, sometimes get a little angry, get a little depressed, sometimes, act like you're not happy. I want y'all to what I'm saying? So they won't think you're really different. I want you to act like everybody else sometimes. But you know that you're here to embrace them in the arms of love. And when you give it, you receive it. And you know you must be giving it because you're receiving it right now.
Yeah, right now.
So I'm the proof that you're giving it. Because you deserve it, no matter what you think you've done. So, may the course be with you. I appreciate you, Holy Spirit. Clubs are available, and I hope to see you the next time I see you.
That's a pretty true statement there.
Yeah.